These are some realistic sacrifices I make to stay in shape, lean, while working a 9-to-5 desk job. If you just copy these steps, if you just copy what I do, eventually, not overnight, because I don't make overnight promises, but with consistency, you will see the results that you want. Hey guys, my name is Matthew. If you're new to this channel, I post about fitness tips and how to get lean, confident, jacked, lose fat, and increase your testosterone naturally. Subscribe if you're new. Let's get into the video. So the first thing I make sure I do is show up regardless of how I feel. I show up to the gym every single day. Maybe max, I'll take one rest day, and that's only because my body is sore and it's begging me for a rest day. It doesn't necessarily need one, but it's actually, no, it does need one. It's screaming at me, hey, okay, you've pushed your body to the limits. You've gone 10 days in a row, let's take a break. And the reason why I have this mentality is because just like you show up every single day, I show up every single day to my job, not because some days I feel like it and some days I don't, but because it's required of me. I have bills to pay, I have a future and savings that I want to save up for, and I want to live a certain lifestyle which requires making money. And if I only showed up to work on the days that I felt like going to work, I would maybe show up 10 days out of the year to work. And if you have this mentality, then you're never going to make it in any aspect of your life. You need to drill it into your mind that feelings don't dictate your actions. You act regardless how you feel. And if you just develop and have this slight mindset shift, you're going to be so much more successful. You're going to not rely on motivation, and you're not going to say, okay, next Monday I'll start. Okay, next Monday I'll start. You're just going to show up regardless. Because let me ask you, are you a child? Actually ask yourself and sit with yourself with that question. Are you a child? Because children dictate their actions based on how they feel. Men execute regardless of how they feel. So if you just make that one simple switch and make that a non-negotiable, I promise you'll go so much further in your fitness career and get to being lean a lot more quicker than you were hoping for. Number 2, and this one is a life changer, is I do not carry a bag of snacks around me, or I don't have a bag of snacks near my desk. I work in sales, so I'm a lot on my computer. I'm dealing with things, and at times it can get boring. And when we're bored, the first thing that you think of is, oh, okay, I need to stimulate myself. Now we have social media to stimulate ourselves. But a lot of people are just getting their dopamine receptors fried by social media, so they need even more stimulation. So what do they reach for? A bag of snacks. You realize, people are watching movies now at home. What do they have with them? A bag of snacks, a bag of chips, a bag of popcorn. Well, popcorn's not as bad if it's not extremely buttered, but you get the point. If you have like an entire bag of, processed junk that you're just snacking on unconsciously, before I got into fitness and made it a foundational part of my life, this is exactly how I put on 50 pounds of fat unconsciously. I would just, whenever I'm bored, watching a movie, working on my computer, just whatever's near me, put it into my mouth. Try substituting that if you need snacks with a bag of berries, blueberries, raspberries, strawberries. Any of those are great. Or even vegetables. Vegetables are a great substitute to processed, cookies, junk, and whatnot. Because what it allows you to do is, most of the time you're not like, okay, let me eat another carrot. But if it's a chocolate, it's like, okay, let me grab another M&M, right? And if you're not appealed by the berries, by the veggies, you're not actually really that hungry, because your mind just wants some stimulation. It doesn't actually require something to fill its hunger craving. And if berries and veggies really throw you off that much, then just drink water. After drinking a bit of water, you'll realize most of the times you weren't actually hungry, you were just dehydrated. So that's number 2. A non-negotiable is I never have snacks around me because it's stupid easy to overeat on snacks, especially processed junk. Number 3, 8,000 to 15,000 steps, non-negotiable. This is another non-negotiable for me, and it's because I work a pretty sedentary job. So my life is pretty sedentary, so I don't argue with myself, right? It's just something that needs to get done no matter what. If I have to, wind down after work, because I typically like to wind down watching some movies just to, calm the mind. And this is typically pretty normal for a lot of people. And it's okay to, throw on a show in the background or watch your, favorite Netflix movie, whatever it may be. That's not necessarily bad. What's bad is if you're doing that, but you still know subconsciously that you have things to do, right? You're not going to throw on a Netflix show if your kid isn't fed. Right? You're not going to throw on a Netflix show and be so possessed by it if you have a project or a meeting or a quota to meet by the end of the day, right? You have your priorities and you're going to set them straight. So what you need to do is, sure, enjoy the wind down at the movie, but make sure that at least all the things that need to be done or that you've planned for the day, which is your 8,000 to 10,000 or 15,000 steps, are done. What I typically like to do is if I don't have those done by the end of the day, but I still want some sort of wind down, whether I love anime, I watch so much anime, not so much, to be honest, I'm really behind, I need to catch up on a couple of new seasons and episodes that came out, but I personally, just on my treadmill, I'll put it in front my phone, I like to watch some anime, and I'll just get my steps in. And this way I'll walk for 45 minutes to an hour just unconsciously, and I'm multitasking. I'm getting my steps in and I'm winding down. You don't need to be sprinting on the treadmill, but just movement, because if you're like me, you sit in the car, you sit on the sofa, you sit while working at a desk. These are things that you have to pay attention to if you don't want lower back pain in the future, if you don't want stubborn belly fat. The easiest method, by far the hack to getting rid of stubborn belly fat, is just by walking. Because most of us, like I said, if you're a desk sitter like me, you're sitting all day and your metabolism crashes into 2 in half. If you, even just by standing, you're burning more calories than you are by sitting, just by doing nothing but standing. So add walking to that and you're already off to the races. Number 4, I don't treat the weekend as an escape. So many people, and I'm telling you, 99% of people, especially in the corporate world, are so stressed because of work, meeting quotas, needing to finish projects by the end of Friday or whatever, that they treat the weekend as an escape. It's their privilege. Okay, I had a hard week. I'm going to go and blow all my money on alcohol, blow my money on drinks, on food. I get it. I like to have a social life too. I like to go out with my friends. I like to enjoy good food, nachos, but I don't treat the weekend as an escape. It's just another day. I don't see Monday to Sunday. I see day after day. And of course, on specific days like a Sunday, I have planned that I need to go to church. I need to do this. But I don't allow myself to fall into that, it's Friday night, I'm just going to let loose. Because what happens when you pick up the habit? Your whole life is this cycle, and then you dread your Mondays. But if you stay disciplined and do the things every single day, you don't, number 1, dread Mondays anymore, because it's not a Monday, it's just another day. And number 2, you're actually staying on track with your goals. You're hitting the things and doing the things that need to be done every single solitary day, which doesn't take you off track. Sure, you can still, go out and socialize to a later time because you don't have to wake up at 6 a.m. the next day. But that doesn't give you the excuse, or at least I don't allow that to be my excuse to devour 1,000 calories worth of alcohol. You are the byproduct of your choices. And if you don't choose wisely, your choices, and if you look to yourself now, you are the sum of your choices, and the reason why you look and feel and act the way you do is because you've been doing that for the past. So don't expect anything to change if you don't change your choices. So if you're looking for a guide to help you out of this skinny fat physique, subscribe if you're new, because I post valuable tips like this every single day, and it is my job and mission to help as many corporate professionals who are stuck in the skinny fat physique, chained to their desks, get lean, fit, confident, and naturally boost their testosterone. Subscribe if you're new. I love you guys, and I'm gonna leave you like I always do. Create more than you consume, serve others, love everyone, and if you wanna work with me, click the first link in the description. Peace.